Hey there, we have like eons of stories to tell, so if you want to follow us along on this journey and keep up with all the stories that we have putting out, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hey, what is up, y'all? Chad is here, and today we're going to be finishing up Secret Wars. So this is the very last video that I'm going to be making on this, right? Because this is the conclusion. This is where, the Beyonder, he comes back and everything, everything's just going back the way it was, right? They changed up some stuff, but pretty much everything's just going to be done, right? So last we left off, right? Doom had just killed the Beyonder, right? He killed the Beyonder, he took all his power, and he came back to the planet that they were on, and they were all just like, just like questioning him, right? They're like, oh, Doom, he come back, and basically what he's telling them is, he said the Beyonder's dead, right? And he's he throws out the idea that he can actually like kill all these guys if he wanted to, but he's not gonna do that, right? And they're very cautious at this moment, right? Because like they don't know what he's gonna do, right? This is a wild card at this moment, right? It's Doom with this infinite seemingly level of power, right? They don't know what's gonna go on. He's a villain, but what he assures them is like he's not gonna do anything, right? He just wants to talk to them, right? And like while he's talking to them, the villains, right, they end up showing up, and like they just like looking at him. They're just like, oh, like they're like, Doom's over there talking to the heroes. Is he betraying us? Like, and they're just like questioning, right? And eventually Owen Reese, he gets mad, right? He's feeling the betrayal from Doom, because Doom has been having Owen Reese like helping this entire time, and now Doom is basically quote unquote defecting to the side of the heroes, right? So Molecule Man, he feels betrayed, right? He starts getting mad, and eventually what he does is he like removes the heroes from the area, right? Like what he does is like he picks up the entire like surface of the planet and like just like moves it out of the way, right? So he can go to Dr. Doom himself, right? He goes up to Dr. Doom, and basically he's like talking to Dr. Doom. He's like, I'll kill you right now, man. Like I will destroy you. You think I can't do it? I control matter, but I can actually destroy you. And Dr. Doom, he just talks to Owen Reese. He's like, Owen, Molecule Man, you are so much more powerful than you think you are. Your power isn't confined to only inanimate objects, right? You can control anything, right? Organic objects, like you can do whatever you want. Literally every atom in this universe obeys your whim. Like you control all of this, right? So what he does is he ends up like grabbing Owen Reese, and what he does is he takes away his mental blocks, because like Owen Reese, he always had it in his mind that he can only control inanimate things, right? Like a wall, a rock, something like that, right? But like Doom, he shows him the way. He shows him all this different stuff that he could do, right? And basically this is where Owen Reese gets like stupidly OP, right? With that going on, right? Like they get done talking, and eventually Dr. Doom, he leaves, right? As soon as he leaves, the villains show up to Owen Reese, right? And they're just like asking him, and they're just like, okay, Owen Reese, you're the leader here, right? Like what are we doing, right? So eventually they end up going to Marsha's home, right? They go to Marsha's home because like Denver, that entire city, that was piece of Battle World, right? Like it came to this planet when the Beyonder put it all together. So basically Marsha's home is there, right? So they all go there, and that's basically where they're gonna like hole up for a little bit, right? So heroes, right, they see this, right? They see like what Owen is doing, and basically what he's doing is he's taking Denver away and basically gonna send it back to Earth, right? Like he puts like this entire like bubble around it and basically picks it up, and like he's gonna like transport it back to Earth, right? The heroes see this, right? They see it on their little their video devices, and they're just like, okay, I mean there's not a whole lot that we can do about that. Like little dude just took the entire city out of the ground and like moved it. We can't do nothing about that. Let's just go to sleep. And they end up just like all going to sleep, right? So with that happening, right, they end up going to sleep, and basically there's like this little beam of light, right? This little beam of light, it like goes into the hero's space, and basically it goes into the mind of the Hulk, right? So with that happening, the Hulk, he just like gets up, he just like starts walking around, right? And basically he walks past Spider-Woman, right? So like Spider-Woman, she's basically like trying to stop the Hulk, right? Because like if the Hulk, he's like dormant right now, but if he would have like step on somebody or something like that, he'd probably kill him. So she's basically like trying to stop him, right? She makes like this little webbing trap, and he like walks through that, and eventually he like pushes her head, and like as soon as he does that, that little like beam of light ends up like going into Spider-Woman, right? So basically like she starts like walking away, Hulk falls out, and like she just starts like walking, like doing the same thing that he's doing, like basically under the control of the Beyonder, right? So what she's doing is she's looking for a claw, right? Like she walks towards claw, and eventually as soon as she gets there, this light emerges, right? Like this huge bright light, right? And like all the heroes, like they hear her scream, right? They hear her scream, and eventually they all like run up over there, right? And basically what she describes is Dr. Doom showed up. Dr. Doom, he showed up, he reassembled Claw's body back together, and unfrozen Captain Marvel, right? Brought her back, from being in her stuck in her frozen state, right? So she like points to the wall, and what's on the wall is the fact that Doom, he actually put on the wall that he's summoning them to his tower. He created this tower, and he's basically like asking for all of them to meet him there the next day, right? So with that happening, right, Dr. Doom, he's like trying to rest, right? But like the thing about the power that Doctor Doom has at this moment, if his mind just like starts to wander or like anything like that, he's gonna destroy some stuff. He like whatever he like thinks is gonna happen, right? So like that's why only like Doctor Doom and maybe like Reed Richards are like the only two people here who could probably like actually, you know, tame his power, other than like Galactus, because like they're the only ones with the the intelligence to contain his power, right? So he's like trying to risk, like he's like ends up like shutting the power down, like he like, you know, seals it within himself so it doesn't just like, you know, like go haywire and stuff like that. And like Claw, he just watches like while Doctor Doom's like resting, right? So the next day the heroes show up. So the heroes, they all like end up gathering and they like, you know, taking off to Doom's tower, right? And like when they get there, Doom, he's like basically like talking to them. He's like, okay, I've done a lot of stuff, you know, I've done some stuff that can't be changed back, I've done some stuff that can be changed back, right? I'm going to change all the stuff that I can back to how it was before I started like messing stuff up, right? And basically what he does is he ends up like bringing Kang back to life. He awakens Galactus because Galactus, after Doctor Doom stole his power, was just like, he's unconscious. He was just like out there just like floating in space, unconscious. There was like, he was just there, right? So he wakes him up, right? So he ends up like offering all of them a wish, right? Like he asked them like what they want, you know, stuff like that, and they're just like thinking, they're just like, okay, I mean, we can wish to go home, you know, stuff like that. And eventually they're like, okay, no, we could probably just like make a machine and get us home, you know. That's what Reed Richards says. And eventually Captain America, he's like, no, we don't need a wish, man. Thank you, but we're good. And they all just like notice that Spider-Woman is just like looking at Claw, right? So eventually they all end up leaving, right? And like soon as they leave, they find out that Spider-Woman isn't there, right? So Captain America, he's like, okay, if she's still alive, I'm gonna go and look. You know, if I'm not back in 15 minutes, leave, right? You know, I'm probably dead. Because Doctor Doom, when they declined his offer, he says, you know, he told them to leave, and they're just like, okay, we'll leave. And he's like, all right, okay, leave, don't come back. If you do come back, I'm gonna smoke you, just like that. So Captain America, he goes back in there, right? You know, risking his life. And he like, soon as like while he's walking around, he finds Doctor Doom and Claw, right? Like Doctor Doom, he's just sitting there, right? He's just sitting there chilling, and Captain America walks up to him and tells him that, you know, Spider-Woman got lost, right? You know, they don't know where she's at. And eventually Doctor Doom, he sends Claw out. He sends Claw to go find her. So he like starts walking around, right? And like while he's walking around, she's like, she has like this little webbing trap, right? The same trap that she used for the Hulk. And basically, you know, he walks up into it and like she just like jumps out of nowhere, and it's like as soon as she jumps out of nowhere, that little like beam of light that she had in her head goes into Claw, right? And Claw, he just starts walking away, right? So Claw walks back in the room with Cap and Doctor Doom, right? And Doctor Doom's just telling him, you know, like, you know, he has his power, and eventually he's gonna try to, you know, like release his mom from Mephisto's clutches, you know, stuff like that. Basically telling him like, you know, like his entire quest for power, like what he was trying to do, pretty much, right? So Captain America, you know, he leaves, right? And basically Claw is just telling him that that Spider-Woman is outside, you know, like she's in the hall, she's passed out. And so Captain America takes her and they go. They end up leaving, right? All the heroes, they end up leaving, and basically where they're going is to like devise a plan. You know, they're trying to talk about it, right? They're trying to discuss what they should do, and basically they're deciding like what they should do about Doctor Doom, right? Because like Doctor Doom at this point, he's not messing with anybody, right? So like that's what they're like trying to decide what to do, right? They're deciding if they should attack or just like, you know, like let him be, because he's not messing with nobody. You know, he's just sitting there. He's not, you know, he's not causing a ruckus or nothing like that. But eventually they just like decide to actually attack him anyway, right? So they decide to attack him anyway, and as soon as they do that, the room just explodes, right? The room explodes, and like all of them are just dead. Every single one of them in there is dead, right? So Doctor Doom, he steals his power away again, right? He steals his power away and he goes to like rest, right? So like Claw, like while Doctor Doom's just sitting there, he's like asking him, he's like, okay, are you sure that they're dead? And Doom's just like, yeah, I mean, I killed them. And eventually he ends up like, you know, dozing off, right? Like he dozes off, and like Claw, he's like talking about the heroes. He's like, okay, I mean, yeah, but like the heroes, they might not be dead, you know, stuff like that. And what this is doing is it's basically like putting it in the subconscious of Doctor Doom that the heroes might still be alive, right? So like if he starts to like think about it, they'll just come back, okay, without him even trying to, right? And he like and Claw, he actually says that like Doom might secretly want the heroes to survive, right? You know, stuff like that. And basically Doom is like trying to get him to stop, right? Because like if he ends up like, you know, not being able to convince himself that they are dead, they'll just keep coming back, right? And like while he's saying that, he's trying to convince himself, Thor's hammer flies in. Thor's hammer flies in, right? He killed all the heroes, but the hammer of Thor just flew in, right? So he knows that the heroes are back, right? So he turns his power back on, right? And like when he's doing that, like all of his power just like starts like freaking out, he's just like starts releasing this crazy amount of power, right? And like eventually he's like, Claw's giving him an idea, like, you know, like give me some of your power, I'll go and kill these dudes, you just sit here and rest. I'll handle this, right? So he ends up giving him a piece of the power, right? And Claw, as soon as he goes out there, he's like, you know, like bringing up all these different monsters, right? He makes these monsters. He brings Ultron back to life. You know, he's just like doing all these different things, right? To have like the heroes fight these things, right? Eventually, Captain America, he sneaks by the monsters, takes out Claw, right? He takes out Claw and he like runs into the room with Doctor Doom, right? And like soon as Doctor Doom like sees him, he like disintegrates him. He just like, you know, evaporates Cap on the spot, right? And as soon as he does that, like Doctor Doom, you know, he thinks he's won. Captain America reappears, right? And like soon as he does that, Doom tries to like disintegrate him again, and Captain America just shows back up, right? And this right here, this like triggers Doctor Doom, right? You know, he starts getting frustrated. You know, he's aggravated. You know, he's basically trying to figure out, you know, like what's going on, right? So with that happening, the power that he has just starts like, you know, like running amok again, like, and like Captain America's like trying to calm him down, but like, you know, Doctor Doom, he can't calm down at this point, right? And the Beyonder in the mind of Claw sees this as an opportunity to get his powers back. He jumps in, grabs all his power back from Doctor Doom, right? So the Beyonder just shows back up. He turns Doom back to the way that he was, and he sends Doom and Claw away, and including himself, like all three of them just like just disappear, right? So with that happening, right, the heroes, they show up. They end up going back to Doom base, and basically they're all just like, you know, just trying to, you know, prepare to go home, right? They're all regrouping. The X-Men show up, the Avengers, Fantastic Four, they're all just like showing up, right? And they just all start getting sent home, right? So when the Fantastic Four actually get ready to go back, what they do is Ben Grimm, he doesn't go. Ben Grimm literally stays on this planet, right? He sends She-Hulk, Reed Richards, Johnny Storm, all of them, they get sent home, and Ben Grimm just stays there, right? So that's the end of this story. All the heroes got sent back. If you enjoyed the story, leave a like. If you're new to the comic book cheese, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one.